Hello and welcome to our podcast, The Audacity of Adulting. I'm your host, Jaira.
And I'm your host, Lynn.
And today we'll be talking about hustle culture versus self-care and its impact.
And this is our take 2 because we forgot to hit record and we have already poured our drinks. Today we are drinking Jose Cuervo, which is a grapefruit pre-made margarita. We love tequila in our family, and this is a bottle that we often have in our family parties because it's delicious, it's pre-made, and you just serve it over ice without anything else or extra work needed. So we love it so much. And of course, with every podcast episode, we feature a drink that we like or a new one we'd like to try. So if you have any recommendations, give us a comment below if you're on YouTube, or even message us on any social media platforms, and we will add the drink to our list. It could be hot, it could be cold, it could be alcoholic, it could be non-alcoholic. We will try it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Refreshing grapefruit. Our ice is already melted, but that's all good.
It's still good.
So for every podcast episode, we like to do an outline. So basically our outline is in 3 parts. The first part is we want to talk about what we see on social media, any trends that we see going on, or any patterns that we see daily. The second thing we want to talk about is our points of view. This could be the same or different, but we talk about it in a respectful way, of course. And then the third is the pretty much outro of our podcast, but basically any trends that we see coming down the line or what we feel is going to pop up in the future. I guess I'll start off with what I see in social media. So I'd say that I'm on social media every day. It is my favorite thing to do, my pastime, and it is part of my business. I love social media. And I think between the two of us, I'm pretty much more on it.
Yeah, the only thing I'm on is TikTok.
Yeah.
And Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm on like almost every platform. So I see a lot of trends, and I think the big thing right now in the topic of social media versus, in the topic of self-care versus hustle culture, I think that it's a very confusing balance. So I think when you scroll on social media, you see things like quotes about investing in yourself, investing in your future, work hard, play hard. Whatever you do now affects like what your life is going to be in 5 years, stuff like that. And then it could be like literally like side by side at the next post being about self-care and, it's okay to not be okay and all of those pretty self-care mantras and graphics.
Yourself.
Yeah. And, as an adult, which is, our whole podcast, it is confusing. We are in like a stage of between like early 20s,
to mid-30s.
Yeah, 19-ish to like mid-30s. There is so much pressure about what we want to be.
What we should be doing.
Yeah, what we should be doing, what we should be experiencing, what we should know. It's like, how do we find that balance? And how do we find that balance when social media is yelling at you every second about doing this and doing that? And then also your outside relationships influence how you're feeling as well. Because, I can say this from my experience, but anytime I talk to like my mom or dad, if I say that I'm sleeping in, which is self-care culture, or, taking the time to,
take care of yourself.
Yeah, take care of myself, I'm getting yelled at because I should be getting up and doing stuff. And then if I tell my parents that I have been so busy this week, I've been doing all of these things, XYZ, whatever, they'll be like, oh, you don't get enough sleep. Like, you go to sleep some more.
It's always the opposite of what you're telling them.
Yeah, honestly, parents say things because they say things. I think they just want to give you some wisdom all the time. But yeah, I feel like it's just such a constant, okay, as an adult, I'm trying to find myself and I'm trying to decide, like what I want to do, what I want to prioritize on. And, with all the little voices yelling at you from every angle, it gets super overwhelming, and being an adult and taking on adult responsibility is already overwhelming enough. So how do you balance that? who do you believe, or like who do you
Like, what do you listen to?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what do you listen to?
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying with seeing everything on social media. You see on one side, you'll see the advertisement of hustle culture, hustle, 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 and do the grind. And then the next thing you'll see is, oh, take care of yourself, self-care, treat yourself, do what you need to do. But yeah, the balance is really what's key in all of that, and trying to make sure you put the time to do the hustle and then to also take care of yourself.
I feel like I am more leaned towards the hustle aspect of this because I always have a million and one hustles on the go. And, I also have a full time salaried position. So it's like, hey, I go to work for 8 hours, I sleep for, 7 to 8 hours. I have a side hustle. I have to eat. I have to exercise. I have to
Clean the house.
Yeah, do the chores and groceries, clean the house. I have to take care of my hygiene and have a shower and brush my teeth and all of that stuff. So when you basically have that free time, whether it be 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever, how do you decide? Like, do I lay on the couch and watch a movie and not think about anything? Or do I hustle because I'm investing in my future? And, I have had this struggle where I'm sitting on the couch and my brain is just, off the charts. Like, I feel guilty that I'm sitting on the couch watching TV because I could be doing something that, that'll make my life easier in a year, or I could be something that'll benefit, my income or, whatnot.
Yeah, putting that time into something that, into work that will benefit you in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like that's where self-care comes to place. And that's why people have been advocating it so much, is because people are going through burnouts. And, I am not afraid to admit that I have been going through a burnout lately, because it's like, I don't know, I just feel like all this immense pressure from like society and my family, and it's so stressful. But I'd say in the last 2 years, I've definitely been doing better. And I do think it's also because of the help of social media as well, because now I feel like it's more okay to let go and to focus on self-care. Whereas before, everybody was on hustle culture. Everybody was trying to make more money, all that stuff. And like, you post on social media to basically like show off like your nice life, your nice vacations, your nice food and everything. So yeah, I just feel like there needs to be a balance, and it takes a long time to find that balance.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. And there's nothing wrong with hustling and working towards your future, but at the same time, it's important to incorporate rest into that hustle, because without rest, you won't be able to function accordingly. And yeah, with balance, it's important to set up priorities and figure out a schedule for yourself. I mean, I don't follow a schedule. Like, I do have a schedule, but I don't always follow it because life happens.
Yeah.
But it's important to have that outline so you know what you need to do, but also set time aside to take care of yourself and rest.
I honestly also feel like when people do take rest, they do their jobs better. Because when you're feeling burnt out, your mind is already in a negative space. So like, you are already feeling like, oh, like I'm so tired. I don't have any creativity in me. I don't know what to do next. I don't know how I can do something better, because you've been staring at the same thing for so long that you're just so tired. So I feel like when people take a step back and take some rest and then look at the same thing again, they just come in with a fresh set of eyes, and they're able to like see what they can do more effectively or more productively. And yeah, I think that it's very important to prioritize and balance, and also set a lot of boundaries. So like you were saying about scheduling, it's so important to be able to like time block. I mean, as much of a cliche as it is, have that work-life balance, right? Because when it's so easy to basically get away from time, So like
Yeah,
when
time flies.
yeah, and when you have the set amount of time to like work on your small business or work on your hustle or whatever it could be, you could say you set 4 hours, but let's say you're almost done something, and then your 4 hours is up, and you're gonna want to spend an extra 5 minutes, and then that 5 minutes turns into 10, turns into 15, turns into 20, and then you realize, oh wait, like I already taken up all my time to bake a goodie or watch TV or, have a bubble bath. I'm just going to go to sleep. So your brain doesn't really refresh. You just, go straight to sleep and then wake up and do it all over again.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to time block and realize that in this day and age, you don't have to attend to everything. Your time is so, so valuable. If you need to take the day to be a better person and, take that rest and to be, a more effective person in your relationships, like you don't want to go into, a lunch date with a friend and not be able to fully like absorb what they're saying, or you don't want to be superficial and ask them like, oh, how's life going, and then not be able to like listen, right? You want to be
attentive.
Attentive, and you want to be focused. And I feel like when you're burnt out, like that it just isn't there.
Yeah, you're just not there. And that rest is important, like mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But I mean, it can be physically, because like, how are you going to function without rest? So that's really important.
Definitely personal development, professional development is very important, but also making that space to do things that you purely enjoy. Like okay, this is something I need to tell myself, or I do tell myself a lot, where it's like everything does not have to be a business.
Yeah.
So, I think my cousin can kind of vouch for this, but like every time there's something that comes up, it's like, yeah, you can make that a business. Yeah, you can sell
Literally.
that and like make money. Yeah, you can make, whatever a business and all that stuff. And I'm thinking of all the strategies and everything, but I have to take a step back and think like, okay, like not everything needs to be hustled, right? And during the height of the pandemic, I actually bought like a bunch of watercolors to start painting. And, at the time I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sell these. Like they look so good. It took me a while to realize like, wait, like I don't need to make everything that I like doing into something that makes me money. And, obviously it's like, it's very hard, especially if you live in the city. Like I live in the city and everything is so expensive. So I am always looking for ways to make more money, to live more comfortably. You got to have some stuff that's like for pure enjoyment and like no strings attached. And now that's what I do. Like I did not sell any of my paintings or try to make it a business. I now just paint because I want to. And it's helped me a lot. But again, it saved me such a long time to get to that stage. So now I've basically taken a step back and prioritized my well-being. And, I've been able to say no to people if I get invited to lunch or some kind of, family gathering or whatever, and I just really can't make it, or I can't reserve my time for it. I just say no. Like I'm not afraid to do that anymore, and I think we have to be more vocal about it because a lot of people are still afraid to do that because of how everything's been. And a lot of parents, they believed in hustle. Like I don't know if you guys have heard, but like baby boomers and Gen X, I think Gen X is like after millennials.
Gen X, and then
Baby boomers, I think.
I don't even know.
Anyways, yeah, just like adults that are older than us, like in our parents' age and stuff, they worked their butt off, and you'd hear them say like, oh, I've never called in sick a day in my life kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know if that's something to be proud of, maybe at the time, but like it's not that anymore. Times have changed, and it's just important to like know your boundaries and realize like, I just need this break. Like I just can't do it. Like it would do me more harm to take on another time commitment or like project than it would if I didn't. Yeah. So just being more vocal about it. And I think more of the world is starting to understand that, which is really, really nice. But I think just like keeping that trend going so that people feel more comfortable to outright say it.
Yeah, and our parents are the hustle generation. They worked really hard for how they are now. But at the same time,
Especially
I feel
with
like,
immigrant parents too.
yeah, and I feel like they don't know how to rest. They don't know, like my dad, for example, he's always, if he has a day off and he's just at home, he's just gonna be cleaning the house or doing something to keep him busy. But I think down the line, we are in a learning curve. So I think that's gonna evolve into having that balance that everyone needs with hustling and taking care of yourself. Because without taking care of yourself, you won't really be able to go and do the hustle.
Honestly, right now there's still a divide, and I think it's still going to take a few more years. But I am definitely hoping in the future that there will be a bunch of us like prioritizing self care and self love. And it's just, more talked about because right now it's not. And anybody can go down the rabbit hole of seeing other people succeed, and, you're not at that place or whatever, even though everybody goes on their own pace or, goes through life doing who knows what, right? Different things. It's still that like pressure, I think. So just having that balance, making sure that, yeah, you can hustle, but also self care is important. And just taking the time to take a break or even to take a step back and like reevaluate your goals is, also self care as well. I do think that we will get there, but it'll take a lot of time to undo things, like kind of rewire brain, like what I'm doing now to really prioritize self care and realize, like, yeah, it's okay to do nothing.
Yeah, that's where balance comes into play. So
Setting boundaries.
yeah, balance, setting boundaries, and creating a rough schedule for yourself
Yeah,
to
agreed.
do the hustle and take care of yourself. Yeah, well, thank you for watching if you're on YouTube or if you're listening to Anchor or Spotify. Thank you so much. You can follow us on all our social medias in the description below on YouTube. But yeah, you can follow us on Spotify, Anchor, TikTok, and Instagram. Stay tuned for the next episode, and cheers to balance.
Cheers to balance.